this video is going to be the only guide that you will ever need as a Roblox photobasher or designer or whatever you are. In this video, I aim to show you guys the tools that I use day to day, my design process, and other little things that I think are necessary. Ultimately, this is the type of video that I wish I would have seen when I started designing on Roblox for the first time. So if you're a beginner or experienced, this video is still for you and will highly benefit you in your designing journey. And in this video, we're going to be making a shirt from scratch A to Z and everything that I use in my photobashing and designing process. A little background information on me and why you even should watch this video. I'm the owner of the group 1958 on Roblox, a currently verified group.
I started taking this group a little bit more serious in the month of November 2024. And usually you may have seen my videos in the past too. I have a few populars in the design photobash community, whatever.
Ultimately, this video, I haven't seen anyone make something like this, and I feel like I am in the position to make something like this currently. I hope you enjoyed the video and let's get on with it. If you don't already know, photobashing is basically what we're going to be doing. And what actually is photobashing? In Roblox terms, photobashing is basically just grabbing different sections of reference images and using those to form a piece of clothing. So we got shirts, we got pants, got accessories, shoes, anything like that. We basically grab different sections of a reference image and we start forming a piece of accessory, clothing, anything like that. And we use these guidelines here to basically do it. And once you get the hang of good photobashing, you can basically do anything. It is very time efficient. It can get great results. It is just the best way to be designing on Roblox in my humble opinion. Alright, let's get something out of the way first, and that will be software. I highly recommend everyone watching this video to try to get to Photoshop. There is many ways to get Photoshop, okay? I'm not gonna say anything in this video, but if you know, you know, okay? Get your hands on Photoshop. Reason 1. Paint.net quality is automatically a little bit worse, okay? Of course, hear me out. There is things you can do to do quality and improve it. I've already explained this in my other video, and that will suffice. That will be enough for everyone. But the reason isn't just quality, okay? The workflow that you get on Photoshop is so much faster. Organization is way more cleaner. The keybinds are way more better. Everything is just fast on this platform. And don't be scared. I'm going to break down a little bit of this platform in a second. But generally, I will give you a little story. I've used Paint.net myself when I started because the only tutorials on YouTube was Paint.net. So I used Paint.net for around 4 or 5 months. Well, that's where my photobashing experience started from. But that was so slow. I got on Photoshop. It took me, I kid you not, 2 days, and that's all you need. So don't be scared. If you already know how to design, good for you, because you can easily get onto Photoshop. If you don't know how to design yet, even better, because that gives you an opportunity to start fresh from a better platform. Win-win for everyone. Alright, now that we've talked about Photoshop and software, we need to talk about structure and organization. As a designer, you will have a messy workload, so you want to keep this as clean as possible from the start. So on the screen right now, you can see that I have multiple folders, and each of these folders is kind of like a similar setup that I have, but this is for demonstration purposes, and I highly recommend you guys follow this type of workflow too. So the first folder here is to do with your group, and in this folder, you will keep images of group announcements. You will keep images of content for social media, whether that be TikTok, Pinterest, or anything like that. The next folder that I have here is the assets folder. This is the self-explanatory one, but in this folder I basically have multiple folders which I collected free assets that I've seen over my time in Discord servers or anything like that. Whenever you find an asset that you like, you can add it to any of these folders, right? So for example, I have pants. I've added a lot of pants assets here that I've collected in free servers, and this is something that you will regularly update. Next up, we have commissions. So this is for those of you that do commissions. When you start out as a photobasher or designer, one of the quickest ways to get money is doing commissions. So once you do commissions, you can put them in here. Very easy, quick, and it separates all your other from your group. It just separated. Now the next one is optional. It's just the Discord server stuff. If you have a Discord server, this is where your Discord server stuff would go. The next folder is the finished work folder. Very self-explanatory again. You just put all your work that you finished. Now we have the private asset folder. This will keep your private and free one separated. So if I open this up, you will see that I will have my private assets here. I would have someone else's here and many more. If I pay for assets, I will put them in here. So this keeps everything separated so you don't get confused. And next we have the templates folder. This will have all your basic templates that we use. So, you know, the 1x template, the 2x template, advanced template, and any other templates that you would like to use, like the shoes or any other type. Stuff like these are going to be available in my Discord server. And finally, for the future, for you, when you get into UGC, you would have a UGC folder. A bonus tip that I have for all of you guys is you should always have a PSD file. When you open it, it opens up a clean workflow, which contains the 1x template, a red background, advanced template, and anything like that in one click. So you can just hop in and get to work straight away whenever you want. This will be available in my Discord server too, and the next steps of the tutorial and the guide will be following based on this file. Alright, now that I've given you guys this file, let's explain what this is and how you're going to use this. So if I pop this out into the center of the screen, you'll be able to see everything. Alright, let's briefly go over what this file I just gave you guys. So this tab is called the layers tab. And in this layers tab, I have a couple folders that I've given you guys. We have the advanced template, we have the normal template, we have a couple of folders that I just made on the spot. And I also have a red background to spot any mistakes. We'll be talking about this more once we actually make a shirt in the video. Let's quickly go over the normal template. You got the normal template, and again, we'll talk more about this soon, but this is the template that you'll use as your guidance once you make your shirt or pants. Next, we have the advanced template. Advanced template is just the advanced template. Once you get more comfortable using the normal template, you'll realize how much of a lifesaver this advanced template really is, especially to make pants. So let's hide that for now. And let's go over to the red background to spot any mistakes. If I toggle this switch on and off, you'll see obviously it shows and goes off, right? If I also turn on the normal template, you'll see that now there is just red behind the template. And this is to basically spot any mistakes when you're designing. It's simply to see if there's any missing areas, any gaps, or any hard edges that you want to get rid of once you make your shirt. And we will see this in action once we make a shirt. Alright, now that we've talked about photo bashing and the template, we actually need to now go ahead and look for a shirt that we want to make for this video. This is the part of the video where I'm going to talk about how to find good images, how to get better at finding images, and what to do for that whole process, and how to go about getting good inspiration and all that good stuff. The next step of this video is something that links with the organization. I forgot to mention, but I highly recommend making a brand new empty Discord server just for yourself. And in this Discord server, you just make a channel and you call it sites. And in this channel, you're going to put any websites that you like. This is like your collection of reference sites to go back to. If you like something, you just add it there. We will be doing this as an example now. So let's say this is the Instagram page that I stumbled upon on my explore page. Now I go on it, I click it, and I open my Discord server, and I just paste the link into the sites. Now I can refer back to this. And since we're on Instagram right now, let's say I want to make this shirt right here. If I want to save this, I am not able to save this. What I have to do is I have to copy this link and go over to this website. This is my favorite Instagram to PNG tool. I put the link and I press download. When I press download, then I can download the images that I want. Ideally, we only need the back and front. We will be able to download these two, and then we can open it into our Photoshop file. However, there is a very nice extension that I want to give you guys. It's called Save Image as Type. It will be available in my Discord too. There is a channel which is called Website and Tools. You can find all the tools that I'm adding while I'm making this video, and you can download this. With this extension, you're able to save any image as a PNG straight from the website. Alright, now that I've given you guys a little taste of what it looks like to go from Instagram into Photoshop with your images, and I've given you guys a tool and an extension, let me talk about some of the websites and why I use them. The big three websites I tend to use is Pinterest, Instagram, and Grailed. But the reason why I use them isn't just to find the actual images that I'm going to use to photobash. I use these sites as a source of learning about brands, because on these sites I find brands that I don't even know. So I learn more about fashion, and what I do with that information, I basically type it up on the internet, because then I am able to go find an actual website about that brand, which gives me a section or a catalog of higher quality images or more realistic images. I can give you a great example. I found this brand on Instagram and I decided to look into it. So I went on their website, and from here you can get a great catalog of realistic images for example, these pants, right? And as you can see, the image is very high quality and it's also realistic. And the reason why it's realistic is because it's not flat. It's on a actual person. So it has the realistic folds and, you know, this is exactly how it would look on a person in real life. So ideally, if you want a realistic photo bash, you would want to use an image that's being put on by a model. Let's go to the men's section. And as you can see, there is some high quality, realistic images of clothes. And the only way I found this was because of Instagram, Pinterest, and I found out about the brand. Then I learned it. Then I learned about it. I looked into it. I found the website. And from there on, you just grab the website link. And what do? You add it into your Discord server. So let's just grab the website link, go to our new Discord server, and now we just add it in there. So now we have a website that we can refer back to for high quality images. So what did I do in summary? I used a platform like Instagram to gather information, inspiration. I found a brand. I decided to look into the brand by typing it up on Google. I went to the official website, and from the official website, I am able to find a whole catalog of good high quality reference images, which I can now add to my collection and use. So now you can imagine with all the organization that we've just done and just in that specific system using those free platforms, you can now rinse and repeat, and over the time you will have a massive collection of websites with quality reference images, and you will just have a great head start and also great information into the world of fashion. Alright, now let's go find a shirt that we're gonna make in this video, and let's do a live walkthrough of what it looks like for me to grab a reference image. We're gonna be on Pinterest. As you can see, my homepage on Pinterest looks very curated, right? Yours is not gonna look like this. The more keywords you search, Pinterest is very good at making your homepage look very similar to what you like very quickly. So if I take a scroll, I will find something that I like. I've been scrolling for around 30 seconds and I found something that I like. However, of course, like I said, I use these platforms to get information, because on Pinterest, many of you guys know, you may not find an image of the back. When we photo bash, we want an image of the front and back, but on this image, there's only the front. So what do? I look at the description. I can see that this person has linked an Instagram. That's very good for me because now I can search this Instagram page from here. So this is me gathering information, and as you can see, I'm already following this page. I've stumbled upon this great page for such good reference images. This is my style. This is what I like. So now this is another site I can add into my Discord server. So let's go find something that we might like, or we can even try search for the back image of the first image we found on Pinterest. After scrolling for a bit, I found this shirt that I really like, and I feel like this will be a very simple shirt to make for the video as demonstration. So now what we've done, we found information, we've also found a brand new page to use for future, and we've also found a shirt that we're gonna make. Alright guys, now that we got all that out the way, it's time to actually create the shirt on Photoshop. We found our clean shirt references, we have our clean template open now, and now it's time to photo bash. Before we continue, we need to talk about Photoshop and its basics a little bit. When you look at the screen, things might look complicated, but I promise you it's not complicated at all. And when you're just using it to design Roblox clothes, it's not like some crazy rocket science. And honestly, you're gonna get used to it, and literally like after this video, like after doing your first shirt with me, when you're following along, you're just gonna get used to it. So what I want you guys to focus on is the left side here. You got all these tools here. So what I want you guys to do is just hover your mouse over each of these slowly and understand what these are and why you would even use them, and just get the sense of how many tools and how many things there are here. We got, you know, the move, we got the select, we got the freeform select where you can, you know, select in a free way. We got the clone tool, very important for blending. We'll be doing that soon. We got the brush tool, you know, for painting. We got the brush tool for painting, and you know, we got the eraser, of course, paint bucket, blah blah blah, you know, and everything else we'll be using. Just hover your mouse and go through these and you will understand some of these tools. Next, I want you guys to look on top of the screen here. We got so many things. Mainly what we're going to use in Photoshop, I do not use any plugins. We don't need any plugins. We got the filters here. These ones are for the effects. We'll be using these a lot, especially the camera raw filter. Then we got image here. We got the adjustments. We can make adjustments like brightness and contrast, very important. We got vibrance. We got so many things we can use, and you will be using these as you progress. So yeah, we got more stuff like edit here, you know, and then we got of course file. This is where we export when we finish our work. We already talked about the layer section. We'll be talking about it soon. And now we got the properties. We got more adjustments and all these. Honestly, I don't really use any of these over here. I just be doing this by my hand. And this history tab is going to be used for you, the viewer watching this video, because you will be able to see exactly what I do when I do them if you get confused. So yeah, just keep eyes on this tab so you can see everything. At the bottom here, we got the color palette. When you open Photoshop, your color palette might be on this top section here. All you do, you just basically drag it out of this box. So it might be here. I just drag it outside the box and I just place it on the corner. This is because I was used to paint.net when the color palette was at the bottom. So I just dragged it here and it's actually very easy for me. One of the most important things I forgot to mention is actually when you're going over these tools with your mouse, please pay attention to the keybinds, because if you learn the keybinds, the earlier you learn them, the faster you will get and the more comfortable you're gonna have designing experience. A side note for Photoshop customization, for example, keyboard shortcuts, all you have to do is go edit keyboard shortcuts and now you can change your keyboard and the keybinds. So for example, the rectangle select tool, for me it's S, but for you this will say M. I changed it to S because it's much easier for me to press with my left hand, because my hand is always holding WASD, because you know, that's just me. So I just press S and it's very quick for me to access. It's something that we will always be using, so I wanted this to be as accessible as possible. So yeah, this is why I changed it, and I think you guys should too. You will notice my Photoshop is more darker than yours. This is because of customization. So if you go down to edit, then go down to preferences, then go down to interface, then you can change the colors of your Photoshop. So for me, I just changed to the darkest one, and you can do even more things. You can check here, for example, performance. Some of you guys might have Photoshop crashes, even I do. So one thing that helped for me is after going performance, make sure your graphics card make sure it says you're using your graphics processor, and also one thing that helped me would be the memory usage. I slightly increased it. I think it was at 70%, but I just made it 80%. And if you go down to scratch disks, I selected both of them. This helps. I don't know why, but it just helps. Next would be something for customization. For you guys, brush color. For you guys, this is going to be red, but for me it's black. So if you guys want to change the color of this, just go down to edit and then preferences, and then just go down to cursors, and now you can change the color here. You can change it to anything, but I just recommend, I do recommend to keep it red because it's just the easiest to see. I just did black because I don't know why. Now that we've gone through the basics, it's time to actually photobash for real this time. Go find the shirt again. Since we found it on Instagram, we're gonna copy the link, we're gonna go on this website, and then we're just gonna download. So we need the front image and we need the back image. So let's press download on both of those. Now that we've downloaded both of these pictures, we can just drag both of them straight into Photoshop here and drag them on this top bar here. Now let's do the same thing for the second picture. Now we have both pictures ready to go and ready to photobash. Go to the template file first and enable the red background to spot mistakes, because when we photobash, we want this to be enabled. Now go back to the images. So let's start off with the front image here. We want to get rid of the background so we can use the shirt only. So in Photoshop, what you can do is you want to select the subject here. You just want to press select subject and it will select the shirt, right? However, let's say Photoshop does a mistake and it doesn't actually select a part of the shirt. Let's say it accidentally it missed a whole section, right? Let's just say what you can do is now select the lasso tool by pressing C on your keyboard, and while holding shift you can add into the selection. So what I want to do is just go over the line here and just select it, and as you can see it created another one, so we need to select this whole thing inside this. There we go. So now it's been selected whole, right? We want to right click and we want to go to layer via cut, and as you can see nothing happens on the screen, but if you go to the layer section, new layer has been made, and this is the background layer over here. You just want to press backspace on it and it will just go away. And now we're simply going to do the same shit for the back. So select the subject, right click and layer via cut, delete the background, and yeah. Now that we deleted the background for both reference images, we just want to get rid of the extra stuff that we don't need. For example, from the front, we have the neck, the hanger. So we want to just get rid of this. But we also want to just get rid of the inside of this neck hole because this is behind the shirt, right? You don't need this. So we want to get rid of this by eraser or pressing E on your keyboard and dragging it. On Photoshop, I forgot to explain, but if you hold Alt on your keyboard and drag your mouse to the right, you get the size of the brush gets bigger, and if you drag it to the left, it just gets smaller. If you drag the mouse up the brush, it gets softer, as you can see. And if you drag your mouse down while doing it, it becomes more rough. So now you want to use the 100% or the max, and you just want to drag and delete the inside here. I'm not doing it very well, but yeah, I just erased it. And yeah, just make sure you do be using the eraser like this with your mouse controls and holding Alt on your keyboard, because this is what's going to save you infinite time. And now what we're going to do is we're going to be copying this image here and we're going to be pasting it and starting to put it in these boxes, as you can see. So what we're going to start doing is, my method that I use most of the times is by selecting everything, copying it by pressing Ctrl C and then Ctrl V on the keyboard. And as you can see in Photoshop, it will create a new layer automatically, but the layer was pasted in the wrong area for our organization. So I'm going to drag this into the design here box. So it should be under here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to size it down. If I hold shift and size it down, what happens is, well, obviously size it down freely, as you can see. I actually don't want to do that. And what I want to do is hold Alt and size it down, because if I hold Alt, it will size it down proportionally, as you can see. So we want to do this. So now we got to this position here, as you can see. As you can see, it's not fully inside the box, but it covered like most of it, and then the neck hole area is in a decent place in the middle, right? But the logo is like, it's not correct. So what we want to do is, while holding shift now, as you remember, you can move things freely without it moving proportionally. So what we want to do is hold shift and drag the bottom up into a good position. I like this, so this is good, and we're going to press done. All right, so one thing I forgot to mention is, if you don't hold shift or alt, if you just don't hold anything, and you can basically size it down from the position you started from. So if I start from here, I can size it down here. If I start from here, I can size it down to the corner. If I start from here, I can, you get the point. But if I hold alt, then it will size it down strictly from the center, no matter where I do it from. So one other thing I want to talk about is, if you notice, I left out like a big chunk of the bottom of the shirt outside of the torso box. And obviously other shirts might have some designs, important designs over here, which you will need to obviously fit inside the Roblox torso box, right? So let's say you want to move this up, but we don't want to move the whole shirt up because of the neck hole or whatever. What you can do, yes, you can move a little bit more up, like the whole shirt. Let's say I do like how low the neck hole is. I just want to move this section up, the bottom. So I would select this much. Like I would just play around with this. I would select this much here, and what I would do is I would press V on my keyboard to start moving and hold shift, select from here, and then I would drag upwards. As you can see, it's only moving the parts I selected. Let's say I would move it up to this much. Once I won't press done, but I need to press the up arrow key. Oops. I need to press the up arrow key, because if I don't do that, I'll show you what happens if I don't do that. If I just press done, you will see an invisible line across your whole shirt. If I just, yeah, as you can see, it's like a gap. It's a see-through gap. So you will need to press the up arrow key to do this. So let me just do it now. So let's say I'm moving up now. While holding shift, I move it up. I just press the up arrow key. Now it's gone. Cool. Now that we made it this far, it's just going to get a little bit more easier from here. So now what we want to do, we just want to do the same thing for the back image. So obviously let's start off getting rid of the things that we do not need. So same thing here. We want to grab the whole image. You don't really need to grab the whole image. Of course, you can drag only different sections. But for me, I'll be grabbing the whole image here. And then I'll be going back here, pasting it. It creates a new layer automatically, so you don't need to do it beforehand. And this time I'm gonna just hold nothing and just drag it down, so it does size down proportionally. And this time I'm just gonna drag it into the back torso box. If you notice, you're not actually gonna be able to see exactly how well you're putting it. So in this case, what we're gonna do, we're going to hide the normal template, sorry, and we're gonna be showing the advanced template. So don't be scared. I only did this so I can see the other boxes a bit more carefully, and I can also see how far I'm putting my sleeves outside the box. It's pretty much the same thing. But now we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna size it down, place it in a way that we think is appropriate. So let's say I'm happy with that. And of course, as you can see, we need to kind of match this to this. So I'm going to be grabbing this. Oh, also, as you notice, our sleeves is actually outside the whole project file. What we want to do now is click the crop tool, and we want to extend our project just a little bit, because we want this to just obviously be here still. This is only a temporary thing. We will be reverting this back to the original size. Very important. So let's select the whole portion again. And now we're gonna, this time, while holding shift, I'm going to drag up, then press the up arrow key, press done. However, I want more of this in the box now. So I'm gonna do this again, but this time I'm gonna select a different section. While holding shift, I'm gonna drag up. And once I'm done, up arrow key, press done. So I want to do the same thing for this section now. Grab a smaller section here, drag up while holding shift and press up arrow key. And I like that. The image and graphic is still fine. It doesn't look deformed. So yeah, I'm happy with this. But I also want to just quickly talk about something very important when we do the sleeves, or before we do the sleeves. If you notice, due to our reference images, the back section, we can kind of have like this see-through neck effect, which doesn't make sense, obviously. So let me introduce you guys to the clone tool. If you press L on your keyboard, or for me it's L, but for you might be something else, but it's this tool over here. And what this does is it basically copies anything that you selected into a new place. If I grab this and I move it here, then it will basically grab this section which is selected and paste it over here, as you can see, right? And it will keep doing that depending on where this plus icon goes, you know? As you can see, it's moving simultaneously. So if I do it here, it would do it like anywhere. Let's say we're gonna select the closest material to the area we want to fix, and we will just have a brush size a little bit higher, and we're just going to simply just cover it. Simple as that. As you can see, now that effect is gone. If I quickly go back from this to this in just 2 clicks, it's very simple and it looks realistic. I just realized I forgot the most important thing. But so basically, to select the section, you want to hold Alt on your keyboard and click, and then let go, and then you can start actually using it. I would like to show you guys something else that Photoshop has that other platforms don't really have, and that is if you press J on your keyboard, it opens up the heal tool. As you can see, if I click over here, you can see so many things, but mainly what I use is just the healing brush tool or the spot healing brush tool. And if I just, let's say this area, I mean, this part is not going to show on the actual Roblox avatar, but let's just give this an example. If I just do this, ignore what happened outside the box, because that's something you just get rid of. As you can see, it basically just cloned the section pretty much accurately, the same as the clone tool. So you can do that as well. You can just click on the spot with the J. But yeah, now that we've now officially done the front and the back section, we now can move on to the inside of the torso, which we'll be using for sleeves at the same time. So staying on the advanced template just for this video here, what we're gonna do, we need to fill the inside. So what we're gonna do is, I can see that we can just completely take the back section here. If we take this portion from this red to this green over here, and we press Ctrl C and Ctrl V, which will create a new layer on top of this, we can just move. And now if I drag this to this section here, and of course, obviously if I just hide this template now, you can see it doesn't look very nice. It doesn't look very blended in. But if I just drag this layer that we just made underneath both the back layer and also the front layer, and now you can see this happens, right? So let me just quickly show the template again. We're gonna use the eraser, press E, hold Alt on our keyboard, and we're gonna make the hardness of the brush completely 0, as I showed you guys. Just drag up to make it, less rough. We can actually merge these layers now, the front and the back, into one complete layer. So as you can see, if I show you guys, layer 5 and layer 4 here are both the front and back. So let me just merge this together. So now they are one layer. So if I show this, you can see it is just one layer. We want to now erase this stuff here, especially this sharp area, the edges. We just want to use the brush in 0 hardness and just go through the middle, and we would just get rid of this stuff here. Keep in mind, if I go here, as you can see, there's going to be some sections here showing, which goes through the back. To solve this, pretty simple. So what we can do here is actually just copy this layer that we just made, and we can just simply drag it. We can just drag it. I just reversed it just to make it look better, and we can just place it right here, press done, and now we have more area to work with here. So if I just hide the back and the front, you can see it just gave a little bit of a filler, so we don't have this see-through problem. But we do have to get rid of this area here, which is not nice looking. So we just get the brush again with the layer selected, and we just erase. And of course, now it looks much better. So now we can continue going back to erasing some of these things here, so things look much more cleaner. Oh, I'm liking that. It's not looking too bad. Same thing for this side. Let's just do the same thing. As you can see, the problem is happening here. So what I want to do is let me merge the 2 layers over here. So you see, this is actually 2 things separated. So if I merge this, now it just becomes one. What I'm going to do is copy, and I'm going to flip this by pressing Ctrl T. If you press Ctrl T, this menu will pull up, and then you can flip it. And I'm just going to place it right here. And of course, we want to get rid of this so it looks blended in. Now I can merge these two. Now it's just one layer. Cool. Now I can show this layer again. Now we can go back to erasing this section. Oops. Select the right layer and just get rid of some of these things here. Yeah. So now if I hide the advanced template, you can see that it is looking like it is blending in nicer. Like it just looks more natural instead of different. This section here kind of looks a bit off, but I will show you guys how to make it look better. So for example, you can see that it's a little bit more darker here. One solution is just, you know, get rid of more, which basically just fixed it. The other solution is obviously making the spot darker or brighter, which over here, this I will introduce you guys to the dodge tool and the burn tool. So the burn tool, obviously it makes a spot darker, and the dodge tool, it makes the spot lighter. So if I just keep repeating clicking on it, you can see it just becomes, you know, lighter. But don't do it too much because it will fuck up the colors. But yeah. Okay, so now it's time to do the other side of the sleeve over here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go back to the layer underneath both of these. We're just gonna press Ctrl J, which just copies the layer completely in its place, and we just drag it. Simple. We just drag it here. Next up is actually obviously erasing this, but before this, we have to pay attention to this part here. This section of the sleeve of the shirt, to link back and loop around into this side, right? So what we're gonna do, have this layer selected. We're gonna copy everything that is like out section of the shirt template. Ctrl J, so it stays in that spot. And of course, as you can see, the way that I grabbed the section is using the edge of this box as a reference. So we can just simply drag it straight. Photoshop has this line thing, those purple lines you see, and it just tells you like a guideline of where it's gonna go. So since I copied inside that black line too, I can't just like leave it outside the black line. So what I'm gonna do, I'm also gonna just place it there, you know? All right, cool. Now that I've done that, it's time to do the same thing that we did for I'm going to simply merge this arm here with the rest of the back, and yeah. So then I'm gonna just get the eraser, 0% softness, and then just do the same thing. It doesn't have to be like always perfect. It can just be like roughly. I noticed that there's like this weird aggressive line. So let's just use the pressing J on our keyboard, and we're just gonna have to get rid of that. We're gonna have to find the right layer. I think it's layer 6 copy here. And then we just press that so that line just disappears. But yeah, if I had the advanced template, you might see, obviously you can see that it's still aggressive here. That's fine because obviously the normal template, this section is not actually part of the shirt. So this is the actual template that counts for Roblox. The advanced template is just for lining things up. So if you realize the way that you would use this is actually you would copy the entire back, this whole box, and then select the right layer, and then you copy it, and then you move it into the box here and make sure it's fully inside that box. If this side is erased because I think when we did this, we didn't fully merge it, but that's fine because obviously this part is not actually going to be used on the Roblox shirt template. So we just wanted to use this just to see if everything's being blended in nicely, and it is. So we don't need to really worry about anything. So I'm gonna just get rid of this now. And actually, I'm actually also gonna get rid of this since we don't need it. Now that we blended in inside the torso, it's time to do the shoulder areas and the neck hole specifically. To do the neck hole and the shoulder area is pretty simple for this type of shirt. What we're gonna do is we are just gonna select this square here up to this guideline here, and we're just gonna copy this into this box here. And obviously, we're gonna do the same thing on that side too. So let me just quickly do that. The right layer has been selected. We're gonna Ctrl J. By pressing Ctrl T on your keyboard, this little thing pops up. This allows you to obviously flip the selection vertically and horizontally. But what we're gonna do, we're simply just gonna flip this upside down, and we're gonna make it go up here and fit that box here. So the reason why we flipped it is so that it just looks like it has a nicer transition, which we're going to fix anyway with the clone tool. But as you can see, look how aggressive that looks. But if I just flip it, it basically just erases the aggressive line. But obviously we're left with this dark void, which we would need to fix for everything to look nicer, and we will do that right after doing this shoulder here. So let me put the guideline back, and now we're going to select the guideline here again, a perfect square using this guideline. Perfect square, is that perfect? Ctrl J, and now Ctrl T on your keyboard, flip and move it up, make sure it fits the square nicely. I don't think that was a perfect selection. So yeah, make sure the selection was perfect. My one was not good. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna merge this in, so it just looks like. So now that I've merged it in, obviously you can see some things sticking out like this part here. If I just like erase this now, and we can make this look nicer in a few seconds. So the shoulder is 50% done, so let's just quickly fill this neck hole here. Now I think this is a great time to introduce you guys to another tool. But before we do that, we need to actually just get rid of this dumb thing over here, which I will be doing now. Just getting rid of this. Make sure the right layer is selected and we can just get rid of that. So now one tool I want to show you guys is the content aware fill. What the content aware fill does is essentially it fills in an entire selection based on what is around it. So if I right click after selecting something, there's going to be so many options. We want to select content aware fill. So for this neck hole, we're going to be trying to do it with this content aware fill. And as you can see, it got what is around it and it's trying to calculate what it should fill it with, right? But I don't really like that. It looks kind of bad. So by holding Alt on our keyboard, we can actually add more sections of it. So if I just like select this and just literally do that, this generally might look nicer now. Okay, I'm liking this, but okay. So I'm gonna just use this. So I'm gonna press OK. As you can see, it's quite dark, but we can fix that with clone tool in a second. But the neck hole is now full. The other way to do the neck hole is by actually just taking the back section. This is like the OG version of the way to do it if you don't use Photoshop. We just select this section, Control J, and we just place it here. But obviously I kind of messed up with the thing here, but whatever. We can just do this, same thing. Pretty much we can do that, but for this, I'm gonna just use this. Now the neck hole or the neck area is kind of like getting to a position that's good. Just wanna get rid of the outside stuff that's kind of messy. As you can see over here, is it really messy? I just wanna get rid of this. So select anything outside the box and then press Ctrl X, cut the pixels. Same with this side. I'm not gonna use this again. So Ctrl X. Back to talking about the neck area. So what we need to do is two things. First, we need to blend these areas so it doesn't look aggressively sharp. And we also need to connect the neck hole together and make it come alive. For this section, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start by connecting the neck together. So we can do two things. We can either grab this back of the neck area here and then Control J, and we move it here and then we press Control T. We can now like flip it just like so, and we can now align it together and obviously make it look nice. But as you can see, the colors are different. This is a darker and this is lighter. So what we can do is we can make this lighter, but I'm not sure it's gonna look nice because obviously this is more blue. Okay, no, it's fine. Yeah, this is fine. Oops. Okay, so it is a different color still, but that's because these white parts are kind of making it look weird. Once this gets deleted, then it's gonna look nicer. And obviously we're gonna make it look nicely blended in for a sec. And the other way to do this is if I just had this layer is by selecting this section of the neck hole and we copy Control J and we flip it and we just use this as, you know, the other side of the neck. This is probably the most common way because it keeps the color of the neck the same roughly, and you can go ahead and edit it with the other tools like the the dodge tool or the burn tool. So obviously the burn tool makes it darker, the dodge tool makes it brighter. Since I like the neck area like this, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get rid of the X's on the outside, 100% hardness and opacity, and I'm just going to make sure the right layer is selected, and then I'm just going to get rid of this section here. That looks nice to me. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of these areas here. So this one I'm going to go a little bit soft on the brush and small as well. I'm just going to do this just like that. Okay, cool. Now we have this basic shape of a neck hole, but we want to get rid of the inside, this part. So I'm going to go down to the layer that has the background, and then I'm just going to get rid of everything inside. 100% hardness, and I'm just gonna delete everything that's inside the neck hole just like that. Cool. Now that we've done that, basically I want to show you guys the tool that I use to kind of quickly blend things in. So other than the clone tool, which is by pressing L on my keyboard, the clone tool stamp, what we can do is something called the heal tool. If I press J on my keyboard, it's called the spot healing brush. This one, what you can do, if we merge every layer now so that everything is on the same layer, what we can do with this is if I press J and then I just clicked my mouse and it's like a brush and I just hover my mouse over the thing, you can see it just gets rid of these spots like instantly, right? So I can just do this for this side too. Sometimes you'll notice that, okay, for example, if I do it for over here, okay, it didn't happen, but you'll notice that it will create these white, I'm not really sure how to like avoid that, but just get rid of them. If I just do this again a little bit, press J and then just get rid of these, get rid of this one maybe too, get rid of this one here. So it's very quick, saves a lot of time, and it gives you the results you really need. So obviously this part as well, I skipped this part on accident, so we want to get rid of this mess over here. So okay, there we go, great example right there. This white stuff gets shown tone on the outside. I'm not sure if this is a glitch, but this happens to me, so I just get rid of it. And also we don't really need this outside part anymore, so we can get rid of this too. You may have noticed that the blending, okay, it's okay, is way better than before, but it's still dark and bright here. What can we do? Well, we can go to the burn tool by pressing O on our keyboard or going over here, and then we can just click here and it will kind of like help create better contrast. Don't overdo it because it will kind of mess up the colors. And honestly, this is fine. It's really fine now. Okay, cool. We kind of basically done the entire basics of the design now. As you can see, like the sleeves are done over here, but obviously the neck hole now is like, it's like a triangle. I'm going to show you guys how to use the liquify tool. If you press Ctrl Shift X on your keyboard, it's going to pull up on this menu here. And this is where you can like basically drag things around and make things bigger or smaller. And over here is an important section. So the size of your brush, you got your pressure, which I will do 50. And I just do like, this is always changing. It doesn't really fully matter. You get used to knowing what these values means as the more you do it. So let's see. Okay, let's use brush size 50. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drag this out a bit, make it less triangle looking. That makes sense. So I do like the triangle shape, so I'm gonna keep like a little bit of it, but just gonna make it a little bit more round. There we go. I'm happy with that. Okay, cool. So I made it a little bit more round, but still kept the triangle shape because I like that. Actually, I'm gonna make it a little bit more wider. So this is where obviously, as you can see, I'm playing around now. I'm trying to find what I like. So this is photobashing is just what you like. So just do what you want. So there we go. I feel like this is a decent shape for me. Oh, I like the roundness now. It still goes into it like a triangle. All right, cool. We basically just finished the basics of the shirt, the overall skeleton or whatever you want to call this. We basically finished the shirt, okay? But we need to basically now put this into the normal template. From this advanced template, we want to put it in the actual Roblox normal template. So what we're going to do here, go down to your normal template, enable it so you can see it. And if you disable the advanced template, this is what it's going to look like. It's looking cool, but the arms are missing and the shoulders missing as well. I'm going to enable the advanced template just so I can see the boxes here. And we are going to select this box here, this inner torso. We're going to use this as our arms. So if I select this one here, I'm going to select the entire box, the whole box. Make sure it's fully selected. Now I'm going to press Ctrl C and Ctrl V. It'll create a new layer automatically. And you want to drag this into the first box of the arm, the right arm. So make sure it's perfectly inside the box, the same way you made it. So now we just done the front of the arm. We're going to copy this, Ctrl J. We're going to flip this by pressing this side, and we're just going to simply drag it all the way to the end. So the reason why we do this is because template is just the representation of the Roblox avatar, but just flattened out, right? So this is going to loop around from the front to the back. And when we flip the first one to the last one, it has a nice loop. And we like that on the avatar, so it looks clean. What we're going to do now, we're going to copy this one and we're just going to flip this as well. We're going to flip this into this box here. And so now the loop is doing it from the, so now it's going to look nice on the avatar and it's going to transition from the back into this arm here. You'll see what I mean when we show the final product. Now that we made it this far, basically what we're going to do, we need to do this section of the arm. Due to the simplicity of this shirt, we don't really mind the loop. Sorry, not the loop, the mirror. So what we're going to do, we're just going to copy this and we're just going to flip this as well. And we're going to place it right here. I know many photo bashers do not like when it's mirrored. So what I mean by this is like, this is the same, this is the same, this is the same, the same. And these like little lines, you know, we're going to fix that now. But I'm just saying this shirt is so simple that it doesn't really matter. But obviously these patches kind of look off. So we will have to fix, and we'll show how to fix this right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge all the arm layers together and I'm going to press J. We're going to test this out. We're going to press J and we're just going to simply, going to brush over any spots that we don't really like. So for example, like this area here, I don't really like it. This one here, I don't like it. We're just going to make things look different. So obviously these spots here, I don't really like it. I just want to get rid of this. There we go. So now it's gone. So I guess you can't complain. Let's see what else. This gets a bit darker. What do? Let's go use the dodge tool here. We're just combining tools and we're just, you know, making things look nicer. Oh, okay, still not fixing. Let's try use our let's try use our content aware fill tool here. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that looks way nicer. Let's see. Yeah, from this darkness to this brightness, that looks way nicer. Merge that in. That looks way better. See, just by doing that, we made some imperfections. Also got rid of the mirror. So this part here, this mirrored as well. Let's get rid of that. Press J on our keyboard. We're just gonna keep doing this. Okay, now it's gone. It's just as easy as that. Just keep playing with tools. Just keep trying out different things. Make parts brighter, makes part darker. everything like that. Okay, so now as you notice, this part is still missing, so we need to fill that out, and we also need to do the exact same thing we did on this side. If you was lazy, you would copy this and put it here, but obviously we're not lazy. We're gonna do this a proper way. Before I finish this, we need to get this one finished. What I'm gonna do is let me just hide the normal template for a second. We need to grab this area of the shoulder box because this was the original shoulder box that we worked on. We need to copy this. Make sure you're on the right layer. Control C, Control V, drag it down here. And then now you need to enable the normal template so you can see. Okay, so it's outside the box, so make sure it is fully in the box just like we dragged. Now that looks fine. Let me just hide this layer for a second. Is it nicely blended? Yes, it is. That's the shoulder done. We just finished the shoulder. We finished the whole arm now. Just like that, very quick, so simple. We're just gonna merge this in now. I'm gonna merge everything together now. But now we're gonna do this. So how are we gonna do this? We're gonna copy the exact same box. In fact, you can kill two birds with one stone by selecting the box with the shoulder, which is right here. Make sure everything is perfectly selected. So now Control C, Control V, drag this down. So now as you can see, I even grabbed the shoulder box here. Is that perfectly placed? I don't think so. Yeah, now it is. Easy. So now Control J, what we're gonna do? Control T, we're gonna flip it. Drag it all the way to the end. Make sure it is in the box perfectly. I know it's hard to see, but you're gonna get used to it. And then now we've done that. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna copy this, Control T again and flip it back and place it right here. Make sure it's actually in the box. We now have this one left to go. Let's try and do something. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the whole box and we're just gonna see what happens if we do content aware fill the whole box. Okay, it looks like that. Let's enable and see what we can do. It looks really ugly. So what we can do, let's just merge this through. Let's hide the normal template for a second and see what kind of lines we're dealing with. So we need to get rid of this one here. We need to get rid of this one here, obviously. And we need to get rid of this one here. These are this is not natural. Let's try use the heal tool, J, on our keyboard and just get rid of it. Okay, I like that. Let's do the same thing here. Oops, I'm not sure why that happened. That looks nice. As you can see, the white stuff is still being made. Let me just get rid of that. Let me now use the content aware fill. We're just combining different things, and this is how you should photobash. Alright, now it is looking a lot better. Some of these parts still need to get worked on, as you can see. Let's use the heal tool here. Not sure why it's doing that. Let me just content aware fill that whole side. See, I like content aware fill more than the heal tool because it actually behaves. Oh yeah, we need to get rid of this outside boxes. We don't need this. Oh, now we have this. It's not, now it's looking good. Now it's looking really nice. Obviously we got these spots here. Let me just get rid of these two. Honestly, that's looking really nice in my opinion. This part is a bit dark, so let's see what I can do if I content aware fill. Oops. Make sure your layers are merged when you do this, by the way. Okay, so that's what happens. Is it brighter? Okay, it's brighter. I do like it when it's brighter because... Oops. Yeah, it just makes everything look nicer. So technically now we basically just finished the shirt. I mean, you could leave it as this and go about your day. The shirt is finished. But obviously we want to give it the final touches. We want to give it like the quality, the more detail. We want to give it, you know, the source, right? I also wanted to talk about one more thing. So sometimes shirts have this thing at the bottom of the sleeves. I don't know what they're called. It's like the cuffs or also over here. So let me go back to the reference image and let's see if there's anything on the shirt. Okay, yeah, as you can see, on this reference image it's quite dark, but like you see how there's this thing here. This is something that we kind of need to do for like the realism. You don't need to if you don't want to. I mean, there's a lot of Roblox shirts that don't have it, but it's fine. So in this case, we could actually use anything. We could even use the neck hole to replicate that section, or like this section here, the sleeves. Okay, so my stupid ass has just realized that this is a t-shirt and not a full sleeve, because right now what we have is a full sleeve, right? Yeah, so the beauty of photobashing, obviously, we basically made a full sleeve, even though the reference is a t-shirt. What we can do, we could just make a version which is a full sleeve like this. Or we can also just make it a t-shirt by basically just selecting, let's say the sleeves are going to be this high. We just cut it, Control X, and now this is the sleeves. So yeah, so if you want the full sleeve version, you can just, you know, keep this like this and just obviously get rid of like a little bit of skin here so that the arms are a little bit showing. And yeah, so but just for this video, we want to keep it true to the photobash reference. So we are going to be making this a t-shirt. Let's select around this much, and I'm just gonna Control X. So I want my sleeves to be this high on the shirt. And after we finish the shirt, we're going to go to a website. And on that website, we can see exactly how the shirt looks like on a Roblox avatar before we even upload it. Now that we got to this stage, some of you may be asking, okay, well, this is too straight. It's not realistic. We wanna have some imperfections, right? Before we do that, let's actually make the sleeves and the cuffs of the sleeves. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over here. We're gonna see if anything's clear. This I don't like. You see how blurry that is? I don't like that. Same with this. And let's see if the back also has the same issue. It's quite blurry, low quality. So what we're going to do instead, we are just going to copy a section of this area. Control C. We're going to go back to this. Control B. And then we're just going to rotate this piece here. And we're going to make this smaller until the point where it doesn't just looks like a cuff. It's a little bit curved, but we will be fixing this in a second. So let's just place it like this. And to fix this, well, simply we can just cut out the point where it curves. Or you can use liquify, but for this I'm just gonna do this. Feel like it's the most simplest one to do. So yeah, now it's like pretty much straight and you can like smooth it out, use this, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna copy and paste this all around the whole shirt here. We're gonna do this, erase it a little bit so it's like a smooth blend, merge it together, Control J, flip it around, and again repeat the same thing. So just erase this so it's like a smooth blend again, merge those two, Control J, and now you can just copy and paste the whole length here just like that, and then erase this for a smooth blend, merge that, and you see these like little white stuff it's repeating. We want to get rid of this, so just select the top portion here, Control X. So you see how it's a little bit brighter. So having this whole section merged down, we can now reduce the brightness by going to image, adjustments, brightness and contrast, and you can play around with this to kind of match the tone of the shirt. So I think this would be perfect for me. It's subtle. I'm going to duplicate this layer because look what happens when I duplicate it. It basically makes it more pronounced. And I'm going to merge this. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to drag it all the way to the other side, and I'm going to rotate it just for some difference and make sure it's gone through the whole section. Okay, perfect. It's now done. We should also take this section and we should see what it looks like on the torso area or the bottom over here. So I'm not really liking it, but however, we can always adjust the brightness. Like I said, just keep testing different things out here. Play with all the buttons since you're new. That's what you should be doing. When it's darker, it makes more sense for me. So personally, I think I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna duplicate it and make sure it goes across the entire shirt here. Looks fine to me. Now I'm gonna merge those together. Still, I'm gonna like make it darker here with the burn tool. Same over here, same over there. In fact, I will go over here and do the same, make it a bit darker. So now we have the cuffs done on the sleeves, and we also have done the same for this section here. We didn't really need to do this part. I think like it genuinely looks better without. I mean, it is what it is. What I'm gonna do maybe is I'm gonna duplicate that layer since I merged it. I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna get rid of this. Okay. Whilst I'm on this duplicated layer, I'm actually going to turn down the opacity so that it's less visible and see what that looks like, because it might look better or it might look worse. Honestly, like you see how it goes down here and it just stops. That's why I don't like it, you see? Like that does not make any sense. So I might just get rid of this completely. So I'm gonna just get rid of that. See, I like that way more because it actually makes sense with the material. That was just an example of me experimenting with the vision, and that vision didn't work. But at least I experimented. That's what you should be doing. Okay, we basically pretty much finished the shirt as basic as it is, but like I said, we need the source, right? We want to give it a quality edge. We want to make it look better than the other people. What we can do to make it look more realistic is obviously not keep the shirt sleeve so flat. So what we can do is make sure everything's merged. Then we can press Shift Control X with the liquify menu, and we can drag the sleeves a little bit up. So it gives it that curve on the sleeves. We're gonna see the shirt on a live avatar soon with the website I was gonna show you guys, but let's just keep it like this. Quite exaggerated. I'm liking the exaggerated type of shirts these days. So yeah, and I'm satisfied with this. So now you may notice some white stuff that are gonna be made. So let's just try get rid of those things because those are very ugly looking. Okay. That's fine. So now this is the part where most of you guys have been waiting for, because some of you guys already know how to photobash. So this is how I do quality. All right. So let's talk about some tools we use in Photoshop, or personally I use. Firstly, Smart Sharpen, one of my favorites. I always use this. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna zoom in a little bit, and we're gonna be playing around with this meter here, the amount meter. We can keep the preview on and off. Let's just keep it on so we can see what it looks like while we do it. So we'll this shirt, I think somewhere around 150 is fine. You can do reduce noise at like 10. This reduces like the grain effect. The less you keep it, the more it's gonna show at the back, you see. The more you put it up, the more it becomes like, it looks like AI. But I'm gonna keep it at like a medium level here, and I'm gonna do 160. Obviously, this is something that you play with. You don't just copy my settings, like, not gonna work. Let's see. Before, like this, blurry. After, more sharp, and the noise grain stuff is gone. Okay, that's simple. That's one thing. What I like to do next is give it some sort of brightness. Copy the same layer by pressing Ctrl J, and I press Shift, Ctrl, Alt, and B. This pulls up the black and white menu, and what I do is I do maximum white, and this happens, right? What I do next is I do the filter and go to other, and then I go to high pass, and then I keep it, I don't know, I play again with this, but usually I like to keep it at like 7, and I press OK. So, okay, what the hell is this? It's just for me to make things brighter, but obviously I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm going to go to this area here, and I'm going to select it as an overlay, and if I enable on and off, you see how like images, this setting is good for images because it makes the images more pop out. Obviously, this is too bright for this shirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now turn down the opacity to what I like. So let's say for this shirt, I do like the color here. I want to keep that color without it becoming white. So I think anywhere between like 40 to 50 for this one is fine. Yeah, perfect. That's now done. Let's go back to the original layer here, and the best tool for quality control in my opinion is camera raw filter. In this, let's just zoom in here. What we're gonna do, we can do so many things. We can do exposure, contrast, all this, temperature, vibrance, saturation, texture, grain, clarity, highlights, sharpening again, noise reduction, all in one, right? We're going to play around with this to our liking. So let's try increase the whites. You see what happens? It increases the white parts. We're going to put this up a little bit. Shadows. What does shadows do? Oh, okay. So it increases the black sections to be more lighter. Do we want that? Yeah, maybe if you want that, you can increase it. So I kind of want it. So I'm going to put it up a little bit. Highlights. Same thing. The whites will go up. Okay. Cool. I like that too. Exposure, contrast. I don't want to touch this, but I want to touch the contrast a little bit. Vibrance. Okay. Vibrance makes the shirt have the actual color, right? So this is quite, it's like, it's almost black and white here. So if I put this up, you see how it becomes very blue at the back, and then the color from the image becomes actual. This is too much. So I'm going to increase it a little bit because recently I like high vibrance in my shirts. So I'm going to put it up a little bit. Saturation does the same effect almost. So you can do like a combination of both. I'm going to do that. So now texture. If you increase texture, you see what happens. It becomes like, it gives it more of like life, I guess. But obviously don't keep it up high. Some people do this, just full max it out. But I want to keep it like somewhat realistic here. I'm going to do like 19, 20, anything really. Clarity, I do it in a pair with texture here. So I increase both. Grain is what people do to add that the noise, you know, that little thing you see. So you can do that. I'm gonna do like 2. I don't really do that, but just for this video, I'm gonna do that. This area here is the graph. If you put it up and down, it's like, it depends on the shirt you're using, but you can play around with this one. Sharpening, this way you can do like some final sharpening touches. I like to use it a little bit, and then I also increase the noise reduction a little bit more. Now that we played around with these settings, we can press OK. There's a massive difference from this to this, and we done this after sharpening once. So this is already sharpened once, and this is after we did the camera raw. See how the colors came alive and it still looks sharp and nice. This is what we want. And now that we've done that, I want to kind of use you may have noticed some people, what they do, they make a new layer and they get the white brush tool and they press B on the keyboard, and they basically just paint. They basically get the white brush and they kind of like do something like this. You may have noticed this. Some people do this, and then what they do is after doing this, they go to filter, they go to blur, then they go to Gaussian blur, and they increase the blur a little bit here, and they press OK. And now they select overlay, and as you can see, they basically make the shirt brighter in different aspects, but like aggressively. But I don't want that, so I'm gonna keep it, but I'm gonna turn down the opacity just a little bit so it doesn't look too aggressive. Okay, that's looking nice. I'm gonna merge this, and now I want to talk about assets, because we've talked about these tools here, the image, the adjustments. You can do so many things. You can change the color. You can go ahead and do many things. You can select individual colors and change them to different ones. You can do a lot of things. As you can see, these are many options for you here, and as you get used to it, you'll be using more and more in your photobashing journey. So yeah, most commonly these are the most common ones for like quick edits, but of course you can use anything here. Filter, camera raw, the one tool that can do everything. So yeah, now let's talk about assets. Since I'm pretty much satisfied with this. Usually, if this was me, I would just upload this because I don't really use many assets. But when I do, right? So let's open an asset. Let's say you found some assets in free Discord servers, and let's apply this to, let's drag this into Photoshop, right? Okay, so here's an asset that I have in my aid assets, right? So this is quite simple. It's like a wrinkly shirt. It's like a tight wrinkly shirt, like a muscle shirt almost. It definitely does not fit this aesthetic here, but I just wanted to show you what happens if you do use assets, right? If I press Ctrl A to select the whole canvas and then Ctrl C to copy it, and then press Shift Control V, and what that does, it pastes in place, as you can see, and this will keep it in that same position. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to make this an overlay, right? Okay, so you may have noticed as soon as I made an overlay, there's sections that are not in the shirt, right? So what we need to do, we need to start making the asset the same size as the shirt. So what we're going to do, we're going to select the layer with the asset, and then we're going to press Control. While holding Control, we're going to select the box of the shirt layer, right? Not the layer here, but the box of the image. Click, and this will select the entire canvas. You see what we're gonna do here? We're gonna right click and we're gonna do layer via cut. We're gonna click this, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna create a layer with only the outside or the things that have been selected out, as you can see. And when we click on that layer, we just get rid of it. Now it's gone. Now we just have the layer, the overlay, perfectly cut in a few clicks. We don't need to go and erase anything. It's just perfectly done for us. Obviously, like I said, this asset does not fit the aesthetic of the shirt. Even the colors are messed up. It makes the whole color really bad. But you know, as you can see, I just made like wrinkles here just by using an asset, right? If you use the asset on a good shirt for this, then it would make more sense. But let's go and try find a shirt asset that might fit this, right? Okay, so I found another asset in my paid assets. So this one, this might look better on this shirt here. I'm gonna Control A and then Control C, and then press Shift Control V, paste it in place, and then I'm gonna hold Control while I'm selected on the layer with the asset, then click the image of the shirt layer, right click now, layer via cut, and now I'm gonna delete the bottom layer that's been made. Okay, cool. Now we have this, it's cut, and I've noticed that unfortunately this asset, this leaves are much higher than the shirt that we just made. We're gonna try fix it. Let's just see what happens if we press overlay. That looks much better than the last asset just because of how much more simpler it is. It creates the nice sleeve, I don't know what you call them, but you know what I'm saying. So the shadows are here, nicely done, no excessive heavy wrinkles everywhere. This one does actually fit. It kind of does make the color of the shirt a little bit unpleasant for me, because obviously over here I don't really like it. We can try to make the brightness lower. So let's see, we're gonna increase the contrast and reduce the brightness, and we're gonna compare this to before. That looks way nicer. It does take the brightness away from the shirt. Realistically, that does make sense. In fact, I would do a little bit less so it doesn't ruin the brightness. I'm just gonna do this much. Okay, that looks way better. To fix this problem we were talking about earlier, this section here, what we can do is Shift Control X to liquefy the shirt here and just kind of try raise this as much as we really need to. Let's see if that fixes anything. We're gonna select the asset layer again, and we're gonna press Control and click the image box here for the layer 6 and reselect it, and then we're gonna do layer via cut. We're gonna get rid of the excess. Maybe there was some excess left there. Okay, cool. But I do still see the white stuff here. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure if this is part of the asset or if this is part of the shirt. Let's try. Okay, I think it's part of the shirt. Since I like the asset right now, I'm going to merge the layers. So I'm just going to do this. And in fact, I'm going to go to the red background to spot any mistakes, and I'm going to turn it super red. What I'm going to do is I want to see, since the whites are much easier to see now, I want to see if there's any spots here. So far so good. There's spots here, but I don't think they're like anything bad. I'm just being really picky right now. Yeah, that's cool. What we can do now is, let me just make this back to, so what we should do now is actually some drop shadow. What I mean is the shadow that comes underneath the neck hole. Some of you guys have seen that in many popular shirts. A lot of people do that. How can we do the same effect in Photoshop? The common way people do it is by, making a new layer, dragging it underneath the shirt layer, and just selecting the black brush and then just drawing over, underneath, right? But we want to have it more professionally done. So we're going to double click the layer 6 or the shirt layer, and you can see you can see many things have just popped up, but we want to focus on the drop shadow here, right? So for example, as you can see, I have so many drop shadows, but that's because I have a lot of presets, and you can make a preset by pressing the plus icon here, and these are your options. You got the opacity, you got the angle, you got the distance, the spread, the size. You can do whatever you want. You can play around with this, but just make sure turn off use global light every time you press every time you make a new preset, because otherwise it will just mess everything up. So just have this off. So this is the preset I'm going to use. It's a very simple preset, very simple shadows. If I turn this off and on, you can see that it just creates a subtle shadow here. It does create a more pronounced shadow for the arms here. We can obviously turn it down by going to the distance and making the distance, let's say, for 1. So for this video, I'm going to just do it like small shadow here. So we can do 1. That looks fine to me. And yeah, that's the drop shadow done for this area, I guess. So if you want to do further drop shadows, what you can do, you can make a new layer and drag the new layer underneath the shirt and then have your black brush selected. And then you can just go ahead and use a softness up and just, you know, go ahead and do something like that. So I will do a little bit, I guess, just for the video. So there we go. Something simple just on this angle to give this 3D effect. I do like that a lot recently. So yep, I'm going to merge this layer. Actually, I'm going to turn down the opacity for the shadow so it's not much. Just like that. Now I'm going to merge the layer. Cool. Let's move on to detailing. So what I mean by detailing, okay? So make a new layer, have a black brush selected, and we're going to go over the neck area, right? With a black brush, just like this. But this is too much. We're going to make the brush a little bit smaller, and we're just going to go over it, and we're going to kind of like follow this guideline of the neck hole that we created earlier. Just like that. Let's go the whole way. Okay, so we kind of made something here and it does look excessive. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn down the opacity here so that it's not too much, and we're also gonna get the eraser. This is what I do sometimes. I get the hardness at 0% and I just kind of like softly, you know, these areas so that it fades away, again feeding into this 3D effect that I like. So yeah, if I hide this layer, you can see that it's less prominent, but when I show the layer, it's much more, neck area is more pronounced. So that's just an example of detailing. You can add 3D effect with just the brush tool, just like that. And some people, they like to do the detailing on the images, the outside. So you can use a black brush and just go over the outside of the image here, just by following the guideline here. For this, I'm just going to save some time. I'm not going to do that, but you can go ahead and do that and play around with detailing, right? So we practically just finished the shirt, okay? The other things you can do after this is maybe add like a bracelet asset, maybe some tattoos, you know, those kind of things. But in this video, we're just here for the shirt, right? We finished the shirt and now it's time to try it on, right? Of course. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you guys how to export everything. You want to keep the, obviously you want to turn off the red background. So just click that. You want to keep the template at the background. Ideally, you want to make your own template with your own name. So let me just add my name here. Obviously I have my own template, but so yeah, let me just do that for now. Okay, so yeah, let's just say this is my template, right? So now let's go export. Everything's done. We fixed. So to save, what I do is I click file, go export, and then save for web legacy original. I press save and then I go find the folder. So now that I'm in the folder, I click on the finished work and I'm just gonna name this video tutorial shirt. So ideally you want to have it named as the brand of the shirt, but I just did that because I forgot the brand already. Now that we exported and finally ready to showcase, I wanted to talk to you about this website right here. I've waited weeks just to create this portion of the video because the website was down and the version 2 was being released. This website, formerly known as Photobash XYZ, this website is just the best website for Roblox designers and Roblox photobashers. Just hands down. It's constantly getting updates, many new features coming out. And I'm going to make an in-depth video about this site in the future, right after this video most likely. But many people have already signed up. Some of these people may be your friends as well. So you can see portfolios, other people's works. What we're interested in for now in this video is the showcaser. So as you can see, as soon as I pressed it, the rig of the Roblox avatar has just opened up and it's blank. But we have a lot of options here: shirt, pants, 2D, rig, settings. What we're interested in is, since we made a shirt, we want to click the shirt icon here and it's going to open up with a file, and we need to open our shirt that we just made. So on my second monitor, I just opened it up and here we go. This is what the shirt looks like on Roblox. I like the 2D showcase more than the 3D, just because I just love the 3D effect that this site has, even though it's a 2D showcase, but it looks 3D. You may have seen many people have already been using these, like this showcase style, for TikToks and many other things. I've actually used them myself and I got a couple thousand views. So yeah, you can use that for your showcases for social media. But as you can see, this shirt looks really good. It looks nice. I mean, we did a good job, obviously, if you followed through. I want to talk about the settings here. As you can see, there's like lighting settings, which you can just change around to your liking. If you want to change the angle of lighting, as you can see, I just made the front brighter. So if you think it's too dark for the showcase, then you can make it brighter there. You can even make presets. I have a few presets. I have one which is the sideways preset here. slightly face sideways. This is just the perfect area to showcase your clothes to other people to check out your item before you upload it to Roblox. Create on Roblox. So you're on the homepage, you want to create, you guys know how to. You want to go to creation. Make sure you're uploading on your holder accounts. Classic, shirt, upload asset. Yeah, finished work. But I already saved it on my downloads. So yeah, this is the shirt. Let's call it. Let's find the name for it. I forgot the name for it. So yeah, I just did the name and I did the description. So obviously made by me, and then join my group, PMC active, and yeah, now we're gonna upload 10 Robux, and yeah, and that's it pretty much. We just uploaded this shirt. We're gonna wait for it to moderate. Finished. Oh my god, we finished this, bro, 1 hour we finished the shirt, but the video is basically coming to an end. But here's the shirt on the Roblox avatar preview, and I say we done the most nicest job of any tutorial that I've ever seen. So no soft glaze, like a basic tutorial, and we just made some advanced looking shirt. Bro, that's crazy, bro. Give it up. If you followed through, congratulations. If you didn't, then I don't know what to say to you, bro. It is what it is. But yeah, now I'm gonna move on to some final, I don't know, Q&A. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have any time in this video to go over some commonly asked questions, but I'm gonna have the entire guide in words in my Discord server. So if you hop on the Discord server, there's gonna be a section I'm gonna show now. It's gonna be the jihan photobash guide. There's gonna be some other channels being added that make this video. So right now we got like the PSD file. We have the follow along where I give you the exact 2 shirt images. And then I also give you one for you guys to make on your own right after you finish this one. Then I have templates. We have the websites. We're gonna have the website links. And this is where there's gonna be some frequently asked questions. So quick update on the Discord server. I've just added some more channels and kind of clean things up. We have our paid assets still, which I mainly only have still. Free asset channel has just been made where I'm going to post free assets whenever I can. Community assets, probably the better place to grab assets because I'm very unreliable. Everybody knows that. This is a great way to quickly get some free assets in the server from other people, other creators just like you. Yeah, this will be a great way to quickly fill up your folder with, things to add to your designs. So I just want to say we're going to do a lot of things soon. Competitions, voice calls, all that good stuff. The server's a hybrid. It's for my group, but it's also like a photobash community because we have pretty much every photobasher that you'd know here. And we have UGC creators as well, of course, but that's just a shameless plug from me. I think you guys would join. We're almost close to 2,000 members, which is kind of surprising. Feel free to join, connect, and be a part of the community if you aren't already. With that being said, also thank you for the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think we can push this even more after this video. For my heart and soul. So I hope you guys subscribe and like the video. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial, and I would love to see your designs in the #showcase channel in my server.